y'all would turn y'all's Bibles to Matthew chapter number 6. Can y'all hear me okay? Nice. So while y'all are turning there, I'll introduce myself a little bit. My name's Kerr from Texas. I'll be a sophomore at West Coast Baptist College. So tonight I want to talk to you about prayer. Matthew chapter 6, verse number 6 says, "But thou, when thou prayest, enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, pray to thy Father which is in secret, and thy Father which seest in secret shall reward thee openly." Before I get into what I want to talk about, I want to talk to you a little bit about who our God is. In Revelation chapter 1, verse number 8, it says, "I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, saith the Lord, which is, and which was, and which is to come." So here we see he's our Alpha and Omega, in the beginning and the end. In Hebrews chapter 12, verse number 2, it says, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith. In Genesis, we see he's our creator. He's the creator of everything. In Lamentations, we see that he's our sustainer. And in Exodus chapter 3, verse number 14, we see that he's the great I am. But with how powerful our God is, and how amazing our God is, and for everything we know he can do, how often do we actually talk to him? I'm guilty of this. I've found myself time after time not praying to my God, who's all powerful and all knowing, like I should. So Matthew chapter 6, I want to show three areas that have helped me in my prayer life that I hope can help you. And the first area that has helped me is finding a quiet place, finding somewhere where I can get alone with God. In verse number 5 of Matthew chapter 6, it says, "And when thou prayest, thou shalt not be as the hypocrites are, for they love to pray, standing in the synagogues and in the corners of the streets, that they may be seen of men. Verily I say unto you, they have their reward. But thou, when thou prayest, enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, pray to thy Father which is in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly." I've found multiple times when I'm not in somewhere quiet or somewhere where I'm alone that I get interrupted a lot, and I'll lose where I'm at in my Bible reading or whatever I'm doing. And I've come to learn throughout the years that when I am in my quiet place, there's no distraction. And I find that it's a lot better of a time in the Word of God and in my prayer life than when I'm out where I can be distracted. Matthew chapter number 26, verse number 36, you see Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. It says, "Then cometh Jesus with them unto a place called Gethsemane, and saith unto the disciples, Sit ye here while I go and pray yonder. And he took with him Peter and the two sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful and very heavy. Then saith unto them, My soul is exceeding sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry ye here and watch with me. And he went a little farther and fell on his face and prayed, saying, O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou wilt. And he cometh unto his disciples, and findeth them asleep, and saith unto Peter, What, could ye not watch with me 1 hour? Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak." You see Jesus in this passage as he goes out to a quiet place, somewhere where he can get alone. The disciples came with him and stopped at one place, and he took 3 more disciples with him, but he left them here and he went further, somewhere where he could be alone and pray to God. The second area that I found helpful to me is to not rush a decision without praying about it first. You find that in Philippians chapter 4, verse number 6. It says, "Be careful for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God." You have to do everything through prayer. Something I can't remember who I heard say it, but we're not on our own time schedule. We're not on our time. So sometimes when we're praying, it doesn't seem like our prayer is being answered when we want it to be answered. But it's not when our prayers don't get answered when we want them to be answered. They get answered when God decides to answer them. And it hit me when I heard that, because it came to my realization that it's not my time. It's God's time, and I'm just living in it. So we have to do everything through prayer. Then the third area you find in Psalm 66, verse number 18. And that's that you can't have anything between you and God. Verse number 18 says, "If I regard iniquity in my heart, the Lord will not hear me." We have to make sure that we are clear with God and that there's nothing in between us. We have to make sure that we are right on the same page with God. We want God to hear us, and he will hear us. And you see that in verse number 19. It says, "But verily God hath heard me. He hath attended to the voice of my prayer. Blessed be God, which hath not turned away my prayer, nor his mercy from me." We want God to hear us. So we need to make sure we are right with him first. So we need to find a quiet place. We need to make sure we don't make a decision without praying about it first. And we need to make sure that there's nothing between us and God.